Ladies and gentlemen, we are live tonight for another edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Once again, we are at the Nazareth Speedway for the Gold's Pumps 200 for the NASCAR Busch Series. This is going to be race number 12 of 34 on the season here tonight. It is on a track that is no longer on the NASCAR schedule, and in fact, the track is now vacant. It is abandoned, but we are going to bring it back to life on this season mode playthrough. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're about to get into this 200-lap event here tonight at Nazareth. This place races like a short track. It's very tricky. Every single turn around this racetrack is just so unique. Very flat, but we're going to be seeing some decent speeds as well. R6, Patrick Shadley, Oni. Let's see here. Who else we got? DB Forever 85, welcome to the stream, everybody. We're going to get into this race right here, right now. Kevin Harvick on the pole for tonight's race. He's going to try to go for back-to-back wins, just coming off that win at Richmond the other night. David Green, who qualified second for that Richmond race as well, will start second here tonight also, as Harvick leads the field into turn one. Kyle Busch, who battled Harvick through most of the day, is the driver sitting in second place off the exit of turns 1 and 2. Getting around David Green after Kyle Busch started third. Busch slides up the track in turn 4 as well. Harvick will lead lap 1 here at Nazareth. Almost got in the wall in turn 1 in qualifying earlier on the first lap. First lap I was 12th, and then I picked it up on lap 2, got to the lead. Qualify on the pole. Track position is going to matter so much here. This is a very, very difficult racetrack. Passing is going to be very limited if I had to assume here today. So Harvick glad he qualified out in front. Kyle Busch keeps getting a little too tight, it looks like, in turn 4. Not able to get that car to stick. Such a weird racetrack. It's actually more like turn 1 is all by itself. Then you got turns 2 and 3 right here. Then turn 4 is a turn all by itself as well. Then you have a kink up by the start-finish line. So it's almost, if you would say, 5 completely different turns, but I think this little kink is considered the tri-oval. Harvick going to go up the track a little bit in turns 2 and 3. Kyle Busch closes in just a bit more, but Busch has been going a little too wide in turn 4 down here. And he's going to go wide again. Not sure if he's intentionally doing that, because he's literally done it the first 5 laps of the race now. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. Busch finally got to the bottom of the racetrack at turn 4. It took him 6 laps to do it, but then he pushes off the exit of the corner. Kyle Busch is definitely struggling with the handling of his race car. Going a little wide in turn 1. I mean, the outside is just not going to work here at Nazareth. I can tell you that right now. This is very, very flat. A lot of hard braking zones. Almost every single one of these turns, really. Not sure what the pit window is going to look like here either. We have ran here once already in the modified series. First trip here in the Busch series. I'm not sure if we come back for another one or not. Kyle Busch is definitely keeping the pressure on Harvick, and if he could just stick the inside of the racetrack, I wonder if he'll be good to possibly make a pass down there. So he loses ground off the exit of the corner, running the high side. There's no banking here, so it's not like he can get a run off the banking. Can't really diamond a corner off here at Nazareth, even though it's a flat track, much like a New Hampshire or a Martinsville. Busch gets down low. Harvick just shuts the door on him off turn 3. Busch going to look pretty low into turn 4 as well. Harvick really backs the corner up, wants to beat him to the inside. That was the best opportunity Kyle Busch has had to get around Kevin Harvick in the opening 10 laps of the race tonight. We're going to get the orange shirt. I've had this for a long time. I wore it to work today because I needed a work shirt. And still wearing it now. It's just a plain orange t-shirt. I've had it for a long time. I think it was a hand-me-down from my grandpa, honestly. Something. Like, I've had this since I was a kid. So I almost kind of drowned in it. Still. Not as much as I would have when I was younger, but... Top 2 cars are pulling away from David Green in 3rd and everybody else further back. A little wider lane that time through turns 1 and 2 for Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch again looking low. Harvick going to really cut him. No slack whatsoever. He was heavy in the braking zone that time in turn 5, I guess. Turn 4, rather. Oh, Kyle Busch in the wall in turn 1. Overdrove the corner after putting all that pressure on Kevin Harvick. He finally pushed the car just a little too hard. Wasn't a very hard hit for Kyle Busch, but definitely jerked the car up the racetrack. Could have been a lot worse. That's about what Harvick did back in qualifying on lap 1. He barely kept it off the wall. Probably helped keep a little bit of momentum up, so that way on lap 2 he was able to nab the pole, and that's why he's led the first 15 laps of the race. It's going to be tough for Kyle Busch to get around him. He hasn't even gotten alongside of Harvick yet. He got close once. He's really going to need Harvick to step out of line, and Busch is going to have to nail his corner perfectly just to get to the inside of him. It's not only this is a flat track, but it is very narrow too. It widens up a little bit towards the front stretch, narrows up into turn 1. It's pretty much narrow all the way until you get to about the exit of 4, and right here is where it widens. But just past the start-finish line, into turn 1, there he goes. Just a sharp angle once again. Trevor Grimes, welcome to the stream. There you go, Trevor. Did you miss the truck race today then? I didn't even get to watch the races at all. I tried to watch the truck race on my last break and they were under that lightning delay. Right when I flipped it on, I was like, oh, geez. That I wasn't even here to watch the Xfinity race. Saw Ty Gibbs won that. And Austin Hill won the truck race. Ty Gibbs is a beast, man. Especially on these road courses. The insane thing is that Watkins Glen is a track that a lot of these guys have ran on. I mean, he fended off AJ Allmendinger. This is where AJ got his only career cup win at, is Watkins Glen. Ty Gibbs beat him at his own game. It's got to be frustrating for Kyle Busch knowing he is just all over Kevin Harvick this entire race. They're pulling away from everybody else, but he just, I mean, he, again, really, all but once hasn't come close to getting to the inside of Kevin Harvick to make that pass for the race lead, and we're 22 laps in already. I think he's just trying to find some clean air when he runs wide, just to do something different, but it's not really going to help anything. Harvick's car was a little loose, though, in qualifying. Tightened it up quite a bit from qualifying to the race. I got to say, it's handling pretty good right now. Busch closes again off the exit of turn 3. Trying to dive it in deep into turn 4. Just really no chance. He wasn't quite close enough to the back bumper of Harvick either, getting into the corner. Still racing each other clean over the last few races. Old Spice Speedway, Richmond, these two battled it out. This is the trio now. Busch has failed to beat Harvick in both of those races. Busch almost underneath Harvick. He is there into turn 1. Harvick up the racetrack. He couldn't hold the outside line. Out at Nazareth. And Kyle Busch to the lead into turn 2. Actually got around Kevin Harvick that time. Harvick gets back to the outside almost. Busch is going to block him now. Into turn 4. Busch might leave the bottom open. And Harvick battles back. And Kyle Busch never officially had the lead there. Harvick leads the lap at the line, side by side into turn 1. Harvick slides up the track. Busch going to try crossover. Now we're racing back and forth. Busch to the outside of Kevin Harvick. Harvick shuts the door on him there. He wants no chance at Busch to get back alongside of him. And Kyle's going to keep that pressure on into turn 4. Both cars kind of go up the racetrack. Kyle arcs it back down, though, off the exit of the corner. Harvick tries to get the drive off. He'll lead another lap at the line. Busch still trying to get those 5 bonus points. Very close to making contact in turn 1. Harvick off the wall. Busch again to the lead. It's going to be tough for Harvick to make the crossover now. He lost a lot of momentum, but he still gets underneath Busch. What speed in that 21 car he was able to do that. And blocks a crossover attempt from Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is doing all he can to lead the lap right now, but Harvick still let him all. And Busch is in the wall in turn 1. Second time he's gotten in the wall in turn 1 today. We saw Harvick do it once on the last lap as well. This guy's starting to push it a little too hard in that treacherous corner. He's calmed down pretty quickly. That back and forth battle for about 3 laps between Harvick and Kyle Busch. Ethan, welcome to the stream as well. going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time today. Kyle Busch went really wide in turn 4 again that time and lost quite a bit of ground to Kevin Harvick. He'll try to put the pressure back on him once again. A little bit of a cool down mode right now. These guys still got a ways until lap traffic. Things aren't spacing apart that much at the back of the pack like it is at the front, with the top two just kind of pulling away from everybody else. Track pretty bumpy on the main front stretch at least. So we're kind of seeing there. A little bumpy in the middle of turns 1 and 2 as well. Not so much turn 1, I'd say 2 and 3, my bad. So we're getting used to that. Alright, so halfway on fuel at lap 32. So the pit window is going to be 60 to 65 laps here tonight at Nazareth. Might be the opportunity Busch needs to get back to the inside. Harvick just shuts the door off turn 2. Busch got really close to getting underneath him. That looked like much like what happened in those first 10 laps of the race. So Busch got close to getting underneath Harvick, but couldn't quite do it. Kyle just wants to get 5 bonus points now before anything bad happens, maybe during pit stops or something. Then he'll end up losing track position. Good clean racing with the top two, though. Even when they did cross each other back and forth for about 2 to 3 laps, they never made contact with one another. Busch is putting a lot of pressure on him and driving intense without making the contact. He's keeping himself cool here early on, which is pretty much the battles we have seen with these two over the last few races. Looking like the championship front runners here early in the season, the way they've been running lately. Wow, Busch hard into turn 1 to the outside. This is going to be an unbelievable move from Kyle Busch if he can pull it off. And off turn 2, Harvick holds clear. He really shot that gap into turn 1. He didn't put it in the wall that time either. He's been working that outside. Maybe after about 35 laps, he's starting to lay a little bit of rubber down out there that it might have helped him get the opportunity to try to make that move, but he couldn't quite pull it off yet. Still early in the race. Now Harvick's going to go up the track a little bit, but cuts back down. The center of the corner, back in front of Kyle Busch once more. Harvick hugs the curbing in turn 4, hits his marks beautifully. And now the 3rd and 4th place cars are slowly starting to catch up to the top two. Busch really wide in turn 1 again, but he hasn't been able to get alongside Harvick up there like he did a couple laps ago. Pace hasn't really dropped a whole lot for Harvick, all things considered. 27.465 is his fastest lap early in this race. That last lap was a 27.558, so only about a tenth of a second, even a little less than a tenth of a second off his fastest time. Clean air and track position definitely helping. Busch again in the wall in turn one. That's the third time. And this is still very early in the race. He really has to be careful that he doesn't risk damaging the car too much. Hurt the speed in the car. Same spot, same turn every single time. Drives it in too deep in the center of the corner. He can't hold the inside. Pushes all the way up into the wall. I mentioned these tight angles at the very beginning of the race as well. Really no chance to catch that race car once it starts to move up. So hard to get in the wall once over there as well. It did help push that lead out to about 0.4 of a second though. Busch is going to try to run Harvick back down again. Busch finally gets to the back bumper of Harvick again. Took him about 4 laps. Up the track he goes. He's got to be careful getting a little too tight now that the 3rd and 4th place cars are closing in on the top 2. Might be in danger of losing a spot up there. Went a little wide again in turns 2 and 3. Harvick pulled about a car length ahead of him. Busch charges back hard and hooks the bottom. In turn 4. Busch went wide and won. That time he kept it off the wall. It looked almost eerily similar the first 3 times he went way up there and did get into the wall. I think that's Bobby Hamilton Jr. who is in 3rd place right now. He's another championship contender, although he's cooled off over the last couple races in comparison to how hot Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch have been running. Can't tell who is in the 4th position right now either. It might be Ron Hornaday in the 2 car. He did qualify up near the front. We will be seeing green flag pit stops here very shortly. Again, between laps 60 and 65 will be the expected pit stops. So we're only about 10 to 15 laps away. Maybe some drivers will try to pit even shorter. So we're likely looking at a 3 pit stop race tonight. Harvick's led the first 50 laps here tonight at Nazareth. But Kyle Busch has been right there every step of the way. Got around him on 2 occasions, but Harvick still led the lap with a crossover move off turn 4 both times. Busch's kryptonite right now is trying to hook the bottom lane. He just hasn't really done it, even when he did make a move around Harvick. That's how he lost the lead. He just couldn't hook the bottom in turn 4. Harvick can't hook the bottom in turns 2 and 3 this time, so the tires are getting a little older. It's getting a little harder, and Kyle Busch has the run. He's underneath Harvick side by side for the lead into turn number 4. Kyle Busch to the lead, and this time he's going to lead a lap. Kyle Busch leads at Nazareth, a very late block on Harvick at the start-finish line. Kyle was not going to give that one up. And now putting Harvick back in that dirty air for really the first time today. Harvick just gets such a great drive off turn 2. Busch trying to side draft him down the back straightaway into 4. A little contact. Busch really tried to pinch Harvick that time. Harvick leads the lap, so Busch got one lap let in. That was it. Still on the outside, through one, into turn two. Harvick up the track, a little more contact. As much beating and banging we've seen between these two in the last 3 weeks, and they've been running 1-2 for quite some time. Harvick going to try to block Busch. Both cars out of shape on the entrance to the corner. And Bobby Hamilton Jr. is right there behind Busch. Top four under a blanket. Harvick going to go a little wide again. Can Kyle get underneath Harvick? Not quite. Harvick blocks him down the backstretch. And Kyle Busch will come into the pits. So Busch is short pitting. A lot of these guys short pitting by quite a bit. While Kevin Harvick and Bobby Hamilton Sr. will stay out. Busch is like, maybe this is my chance to pull away. Let's get a fast pit stop. Let's come in before the race leaders so we can hopefully cycle out ahead of him as well. Remember, we did have a caution in the middle of green flag stops during our Cup race yesterday at Bristol. Now Bobby Hamilton Jr. is going to come onto pit road as well. Gonna have to use that excess road coming in and leaving pit road. Really have no choice. Can't really cut through the grass. Although you can, but you risk spinning out. And no practice for this race, just qualifying. Now we have a caution. On lap 56, caution's out in the middle of green flag stops, and that will trap Kyle Busch and many others a lap down. A wreck. Oh, coming into the pit lane, the 124 car. Slid the tires trying to make it into the pit lane. Got into the right side of Kenny Walls' car, and that just shifted him up into the tire barrels. On the entrance to the pit lane. So Harvick will pit under the yellow. And that's the second race in a row in this game we see a caution in the middle of green flag stops. Perfectly timing yellow for the race leader, Kevin Harvick, who's led all but one lap here early on. No adjustments coming into the pits this time for the 21 crew. It'll be 4 tires and a full tank of fuel. Still an important pit stop. You want to try to keep this track position as much as you can. We have seen how hard it is to pass here today. It will be at a limit, that's for sure. And everybody that stayed out did end up... Yeah, I was going to say everybody that did stay out of the pits were everybody who had pitted before the caution, but they are trapped a lap down as you see Busch and David Green. Ron Hornaday on the inside as well. Green flag back in the air. 22 car wins the race off of pit road. Harvick comes out third and overdrives it getting into turns 1 and 2. And now the 3 wide underneath. Harvick has to get out of the gas. Still gets into the wall. Terrible restart for Kevin Harvick. He is stuck on the outside and is not going anywhere. That's Jason Keller in the 22 car who is leading this race all of a sudden. Boy, that really worked out for him. Contact in turn 1 out of the rear view of Harvick. They were 3 wide getting into the corner again. Harvick out of shape getting back into turn 2. Stays in front of the 109 and drives underneath the 10 of Terry Cook now. Extremely dirty air for Harvick. Really upset the handling of the race car all of a sudden. He's in fourth, but a lot of lap cars between him and the race leader of Jason Keller. Ashton Lewis got a little tight. He goes up the track in line behind the 18 of J.J. Yaley, leaving the bottom open for Harvick to rip through all these lap cars. All those drivers trying to get back on the lead lap as well. We we'll still have 2 more pit stops before the end of tonight's race. Keller has lost the lead. He is currently back to 3rd. Harvick going to try the outside off turn 4. And just blows around Keller on the outside. Clears him into 1. Keller's in the wall in turn 1. Overdrove the corner, trying to get back to the inside of Harvick. Harvick gets around Busch. Passes one of the generated drivers for 2nd off of turn 3. Ooh, almost made contact with his teammate Hornaday. Barely kept it off of him. Clears him with a clean pass nonetheless, and Harvick is going back after the race lead again. Now Hornaday's in the wall in turn 1. So many drivers have been overdriving turn 1 here tonight. So Hornaday, Keller, Harvick has gotten in the wall once down there. Twice, I guess, if you consider the restart as well. Busch got into the wall a few times on that end of the track. Harvick underneath the 135 off turn 4. He's going to try to pinch Harvick down into turn 1. Harvick gives him the run. Harvick got squeezed a ton that time. It's been so hard to pass the leader tonight, though, too. Harvick doesn't want to overdrive his car like Busch did so many times trying to get around him. Harvick gets the ride off turn 3. Into 4. Tries to drive it in deep. He's got the advantage. Getting pinched, but still clears him with a clean pass as he hugs the curbing. Harvick clear off 4. Lead change. He's back out in front again. Oh, 135 and Harvick's into the wall. My goodness, they both overdrove turn 1. Comes Hornaday trying to get back at it. Yeah, that mistake by Harvick was a little worse for him than what it was for the 135, and Harvick might lose the lead again. Oh, man. These corners are just so tight here at Nazareth. Harvick's trying to hang on. Actually got a decent run on the outside that time of Ron Hornaday. Hornaday might get inside the 135. Right now, he just finally cleared Harvick. Harvick really backed up turn 1 well. A little loose, though, into turn 2, and he couldn't quite get underneath Hornaday. Now he gets underneath him. The exit of turn 2 seems to be where Harvick's at his best. And the 135 way wide in turn 4. Easy pass for Harvick again. You got 5 usages left for Jason. Well, I think I probably have somewhere around 5 too, actually. He just keeps going wide after getting to the lead. Should be a lot faster than this 135 car. Especially at the beginning of the run. The only one that could keep up with him earlier in the race was Kyle Busch on the short runs. Oh, that was a great undercut there by the 135 car again. Hornaday's in the free pass position in front of Kyle Busch. David Green, some of those faster cars. The track goes Harvick. His teammate Hornady gets underneath him. A little too wide there for Harvick down the back straightaway. Hornaday getting underneath him. Wonder how equal both the RCR cars are. Harvick with a big dive into one to get back to the bottom and hold on to the race lead. Hornaday starting to get away. He made some adjustments during his pit stop as well to maybe even be better than Harvick. Who knows? So Hornaday's back on the lead lap for right now. He's definitely hoping for another caution. He's pulling away from Harvick. Harvick never made any adjustments during that first pit stop. He has just struggled mightily on this restart. All started when he got put back in traffic, and now with the 2 car in front of him, that's going to disrupt the airflow as well. Harvick is definitely slowly scooting away from second place finally, though. And I think that's Kyle Busch in the 5 car, running down the 135. Busch would be the first driver 1 lap down currently. In the free pass position. As long as Hornaday stays on the lead lap, Kyle Busch would be in the free pass spot. Hornaday started pulling away from Harvick, and Harvick, I wouldn't say he's reeling him in, but that interval seems to be staying pretty equal all of a sudden. I think this last lap, Hornaday was a little bit quicker again, though. I think his car's getting a little bit smaller all of a sudden. Found another glitch with NASCAR E5. Oh, goodness. Harvick got really out of shape into turn 4. Now he's really losing the 2 of Hornaday. Look out for Ron Hornaday. If he can get a caution and get back into this thing, he has a really fast race car, showing what he can do with clean air. We know we don't have too many cars on the lead lap. Yeah, I don't even know why the Heat 5 game even crashed on me to begin with. It was just so random. Like, right before we were going to run the Roval, I entered into the screen and it just crashed on me and then set me all the way back again. Back to the Pocono races. Kyle Busch on the outside in turn 1, holding up that second place car. Allowing Harvick to get back out to about an 8/10 of a second lead once again. Knowing Harvick's led all but a few laps in this race, he could clinch the most laps led before even having to pit for a second time tonight. We do currently have 9 people watching, have had about 9 people watching for quite some time now. Make sure you hit that like button down below. Currently 6 likes so far. Run that up. Subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NASCAR content as well. We have full race NASCAR video game live streams and or real live commentary for the actual races on the weekend as well. We'll pick up the Cup Series race tomorrow on the channel at Watkins Glen. I believe the start time is about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So whenever the TV coverage starts for the actual race itself at about, I think it's 2, we'll pick up that race as well. Prediction, post-race analysis, as always, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays will be our post-race analysis live stream for the NASCAR Fantasy Podcast, and then the predictions are usually on race day morning or afternoon, depending on if it's a night race or what the case is. Said you won at Richmond, but Heat 5 decided to DNF me. So you won, but it said you DNF'd? Yeah, I've never seen that before. That's definitely new. New to my reckoning. Tell you what, Kyle Busch has probably had the most difficulty passing anybody because he cannot get around the 135 car either. Drives it deep into turn 4, just can't get underneath him. Oh, it's at 3 Eastern Standard. Yeah, that 2-week break for NASCAR, I didn't really look on the NASCAR app that much for a lot of things, so I need to look to see what time the races start next weekend on Saturday. So I still haven't even looked at that yet. I'm going to the races, so I definitely need to get on that and look to see when everything starts up. I would assume probably noon. They'll probably start either the IndyCar or the Xfinity race. I don't even know what race is first between IndyCar or Xfinity next weekend on the Indy Road Course. Interesting fact. Rick Ware Racing owns 3.5 charters. A Ford charter is half owned Ware and RPM. Yeah, that's why it's Petty Ware Enterprise or whatever. They have to have the Petty name in it. So RPM owns 1.5. Yeah, but they don't actually own like the car itself. They just own part of the charter. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't think they're getting much business investment out of it. They might as well sell the other half. I feel like they need all the money they can get. They're always in financial trouble. I'm about halfway on fuel. Stretching this fuel tank out, they're still going to be probably about 15 laps short on fuel at the end of the race. Harvick did pit about 7 laps sooner than what he wanted to because of the caution. Still would have put him at about 7-8 laps short, roughly, on a 2-stopper, even without the caution. So we definitely know it's going to be a 3-stopper now. We saw caution come out in the middle of green flag stops with the 124 car trying to get onto pit road. Kenny Wallace was underneath him. They made a little bit of contact, and the 124 ended up into the tire barriers at the front of the pit road entrance. Only caution we've had so far, that was at lap 57. Harvick has led almost every lap today. Kyle Busch got 1 lap led in to get those 5 bonus points, which is big, considering he is looking like an early championship front runner. Him, Harvick, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. are looking like the 3 drivers that will compete for a championship this season. I know we're only 12 races in out of 34, and it's a season-long championship. Anything can happen, but Kyle Busch has really turned it on here over the last few races. If I'm thinking correctly, if he finishes top 5 today, that's going to be 4 in a row for Kyle Busch as well. Yeah, Heat 5's buggy, it's crashy, it's definitely not a good video game. It's not a fully developed video game, I think is the best way to describe NASCAR Heat 5. Just not fully developed. Almost halfway home here tonight at Nazareth. Just a few more laps away. I'll tell you what, if Kevin Harvick just kind of continues to dominate this race. Now, I know he was dominating as far as laps led went, but the amount of drivers that were still in very good contention to win this race was a lot different than what you saw after the caution when we saw those guys that pitted first get trapped a lap down. These guys will obviously have to pit a couple laps before Harvick. They already pitted well before him. They were estimated to pit about 10 laps before Harvick was going to be scheduled to pit. The second half of this tire stint now, though, for Harvick, and the 135 starting to close in again. And all of a sudden, he's about a car length or two off the race lead. David Stremme in the 32 car up in smoke. He'll make his way to pit road. We stay green. Tough break for Stremme. That looks like it'll be a DNF for him here tonight. Cross flags that time by 100 laps complete, 100 still to go at Nazareth Speedway. Kevin Harvick has dominated in laps led here tonight. He does have a new competitor behind him in second place. That isn't Kyle Busch this time. Busch is the first car lap down behind the top two. He tried desperately to get around the 135. But again, somebody to keep an eye on if we do get another caution in the second half of this race to get the field back bunched up again and get himself more than back in contention again is Ron Hornaday in the 2. Because he unlapped himself on Kevin Harvick about 20 to 30 laps ago after the restart. And he is just absolutely pulled away. He is light years ahead of where Harvick's at right now. Both RCR Chevrolets. Hornaday has not led a lap yet. He wasn't really even in the top 3 at the timing of those green flag pit stops earlier. But he was one of the drivers that pitted along with Kyle Busch very early, trying to gain track position if it would have cycled all the way through. And it was a swing and a miss on that strategy. Harvick a little wide in the 135, finally back to the inside. And he might be able to get to the lead in turn 4. Harvick trying to side draft him and pinch him as much as possible. How's that going to work on the exit of the corner? The 135 back in the lead. That's Dwayne Borland. And Nugget Ranch Ford is leading this race. Harvick back to the inside. I didn't really think anybody was going to challenge Harvick after the caution unless we got another one. And Dwayne Borland's putting on tremendous effort, all things considered, and now he puts the car in the wall in turn 1, overdriving the race car, trying to get back around Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch will get around him ensuing. But Borland with a quick crossover. Busch again goes wide in turns 2 and 3 as he has done for most of the day. And Borland going to get back around Busch now, clears him in turn 4. And he's trying to fight after Kevin Harvick, who just can't keep the pace up in the second half of a tire stint. We saw that earlier, and that's how we had 4 drivers under a blanket right before those pit stops. Wayne Borland trying to keep the pressure on. I don't think a fantasy driver's won yet this season in the Busch Series. Borland way up the track at turn 4. And Kyle Busch can't quite get back underneath him. Harvick going to go wide in turn 1. That's going to be an easy move for Borland into turn 2 to get to the inside. So many drivers have missed their corner in turn 1 today, but look at Harvick get the drive off 3. Can he clear him? No, Borland sticks his nose in turn 4. And Dwayne Borland is putting up a heck of a fight right now. Oh, and he pulls up into Harvick, and Busch is going to get back on the lead lap. Taking it 3 wide under both of them. Borland thought he had Harvick clear off turn 4. He moved up and pinched him into the wall. Both cars make contact, and Kyle Busch is back on the lead lap, and that is another car Harvick does not want to see back on the lead lap in this one. And Borland just gave it right to him. Harvick has already clinched the most laps led. That'll be 10 bonus points, but 2 cars that could be faster than Harvick are now back on the lead lap. Definitely know Ron Hornaday's faster. And we're seeing some pit stops here under green. Kyle Busch pulling low. I think he's coming into the pits. So he got back on the lead lap. He's got a pit. Probably couldn't go much longer on fuel. He pitted even before that caution earlier by a few laps. So he's right back to being a lap down again. He's probably going to go 2 laps down. So if we get another yellow, that's only going to hurt him even worse. There's a little bit of smoke in turn 4, like there was somebody who got into the wall down here, but we do stay green. Dwayne Borland has already come into the pits as well, trying to short pit on the 21 of Harvick. Surprised at how brave a lot of these drivers are trying to short pit right now, knowing that it didn't work out well the first time around. So with Harvick pitting under the yellow the first time, he's still not had to make a green flag stop today. It could be tricky trying to get to that access road. Eighth tank of fuel left. Still got to stay out of the pits. He's going to wait it out as long as he possibly can. Pit road speed limit 70 miles an hour, as it is for every track in this NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 video game. Really, every EA Sports video game, for some reason, was always 70 at every track. Even Martinsville was 70. It's about how fast you're going into the corners anyway. Way faster than the caution speed, I can tell you that much. Even during the green flag pit stops, if you look on the track map on the upper right-hand corner of the screen, it doesn't even look like it really spaced most of the field back up again. A few more laps and then Harvick will bring it to pit road. Well, obviously, they released last year's game early to get a head start on this game with the new console coming out and everything. And I think that's why there's such a delay in knowing when the release date's going to be for this game, especially knowing that last year's game came out. They know all the issues, trust me. Like, they know there's major issues with the game crashing. They don't want this to happen with this game, and I think that's why they're taking their time on it. Because if that happens to this game, it's not only going to be 2 games in a row. This is supposed to be like hyped up to be the best NASCAR Heat game we've seen in the current series. Are we going to stay on one more lap? He'll pit at lap 121. It'll be 80 laps to go, so he'll have 79 laps left when he cycles off of pit road. This will be his second pit stop of the race. So he will cycle all the way through the green flag pit stops this time around. Harvick going to have to take it pretty slow here onto the access road. And he is coasting it right now, not even on the gas. And he gets to pit road. So took it very easy and still actually looked like he was coasting it pretty good at a decent speed, about 80 to 85 miles an hour all the way through. And never even really had to touch the brakes beyond that. No adjustments, full tank of fuel for the 21 team of Kevin Harvick. 4 fresh tires and hopefully a clean stop. For this Reese's. You guys say Reese's or Reese's? I think the correct pronunciation is Reese's. Oh man, hard to get loose. That access road. Trying to get back on the pit road, and that's why he wasn't really pushing it earlier. And even with Dwayne Borland short pitting on Kevin Harvick, Harvick will still cycle out as the race leader. It actually has a bigger lead on him now by about 0.3 of a second than what he had when he came into the pits. Very fast stop by the 21 crew. I always usually say Reese's, but I don't think it's actually pronounced that way. That's just how my dialect is. I know down in the chat what you guys think. Yeah, the next game will be on the PS4 still. A lot of people who don't have PS5s yet and don't plan on getting one anytime soon. How expensive they are, they just came out, so they're not going to release it only on PS5. I'm just saying with the PS5 coming out, that's their main focus. Making sure the game's going to cooperate with the new console. I don't think they've even come up with a title for it yet, so I don't know which one it's gonna be. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think the game. I was thinking for the longest time, too, that the game was going to come out in September. I'm starting to think it's not going to come out in September. We don't have a release date. We don't even know what the game's called yet. And we haven't even seen any gameplay of a major trailer for it yet, showing the actual, like, racing. Not even like a teaser video showing cars on the racetrack doing their thing. Like, we haven't seen any of that. It's just been really silent with the news for the most part. We only got like 3 weeks till September, so it's definitely not going to be early September. I can guarantee that. Labor Day weekend or the weekend after Labor Day, like it used to be, I doubt it's going to be that early in September. That's only 4 or 5 weeks away. Dwayne Borland isn't even in second place anymore. I think this is Bobby Hamilton Jr. in second place. Borland must have had a really slow pit stop. I think I see him back there in third. Bobby Hamilton, one of the other drivers running for a championship, and he was in the top 3 early. Stayed on the lead lap. Remember, he and Harvick were the top 2 at the timing of the caution, but a slow pit stop during the yellow for Bobby Hamilton Sr. And we thought Harvick had a bad restart. Junior rather. Bobby Hamilton Jr. must have had a really bad restart himself as well. 70 laps to go, and he is possibly going to try to contend and lead his first laps of the night. Hamilton with a run off turn 3. Harvick with a block down the back straightaway. Into turn 4. Hamilton hooks really low, but Harvick holds the same line, keeping Hamilton behind him. And now Hamilton gets into the wall in turn 1 like many others have had today. Shane Kirkland in the 86 car going to stay high. He's going to let Harvick get underneath him. Kirkland going to lose his lap. Hamilton will get underneath him quickly as well, following Harvick's line. It looks like there is a ton of lap traffic in the not-so-distant future for these top 2 right now. Hamilton again into the wall in turn 1. Second time in the last 4 laps. Keeps the lap car behind him, and he falls about 0.4 of a second off the race lead now. Maybe a tad more. Still 65 laps to go, but we have seen guys pushing hard in second place behind Harvick all day. That track map does not look too pleasant, honestly. If this goes green to the end, not only have that glob of lap cars, probably more than a half a dozen of them, only a couple seconds ahead of Harvick and Hamilton. But just look at the track map ahead of this. You have a tiny gap, and then you just got a ton of cars after that. And outside of Shane Kirkland, these guys have not seen lap traffic at all today. Timing that first yellow back on lap 57. This is the longest green flag run of the race so far, but it's still going to be tough. One pit stop left to the finish. Pretty sure Hamilton did pit at least a few laps before Harvick, so that is probably where time was gained as well. And part of why he got up to second place, and maybe even pitted before Dwayne Borland. Really gained a lot of time there. We'll have 60 laps to go this time by for Kevin Harvick. Bobby Hamilton Jr. right behind him, looking for the race lead. He hasn't led yet, so he wants 5 bonus points about as soon as he possibly can. And there is nothing but 2x2 lap traffic in front of Kevin Harvick. Hasn't gotten to their back bumpers quite yet. Darrell Bradford in the 152 car will be the first lap car Harvick's going to catch. And he'll catch him now by the time they get into turn 4 here. Harvick couldn't quite get underneath him. He had room to do it. He just didn't get there. Now he gets a little loose trying to get back to the gas off turn 4. And look at Bobby Hamilton Sr. on the outside. Is he going to be able to clear Harvick? What a move if he does, and he's going to go up the middle now, 3 wide. Lap car is there, off of turn 2. Harvick holds on to the lead. What a daring move up the middle, 3 wide by Bobby Hamilton Jr. trying to get to the front. And he came really close to clearing Harvick. Just didn't quite do it. He tries the outside again, but now there's a lap car there, so that's not going to work out for him. Has to drop back to the bottom in turns 2 and 3 to get back around the lap cars to at least keep up with Harvick. Harvick a little loose. And we've got some takers coming to pit road here early. Pit window's open to the end of the race now. It's everybody just trying to short pit. With Harvick with a very late entrance into turn 2, keeping Hamilton behind him. A lot more lap cars coming into the pits now. Russell Hughes in the 64 car. In front of Harvick. Harvick couldn't quite clear the 64 car yet. Still hasn't cleared him all the way through turn 1. Now we'll get around him. Gene Martin in the 107 on the outside in turns 2 and 3. Hamilton pushed up the track. It's in line on the outside behind Martin. Harvick hard into turn 4. Now he clears Martin. A lot of these lap cars are letting the leaders race. Seems like they're actually doing a good job of trying to stay out of the way. At least for right now. Harvick gonna again block Hamilton down the back straightaway. Oh, and he goes wide in turn 4. really wide. Hamilton to the inside, but he somehow did not clear Harvick, and Harvick still leads the lap at the line. Into turn one, Hamilton gets into Harvick. They're both on the wall, and around goes Harvick and Hamilton. The leaders have crashed. Oh no! Hamilton overdrove turn one into Harvick. The leaders go around. It was tough to tell from those angles if they might have been 3 wide with a lap car underneath them, but I don't think they were. Heavy damage to the 21 that is going to have to be repaired under the yellow. And this is going to be a lengthy pit stop now, though it will be the final pit stops of the day. I'm not so sure that Harvick's going to win the race off pit road here. We know how much the track position has meant all day long. That is our second caution of the night. Looked like Dwayne Borland might have been the winner off of pit road. And here we go. Green flag back in the air. He was. And here comes the double file restarts again. Harvick struggled on the first and only other restart. And how much damage does he have that might hinder the speed in the race car he's had all day after Hamilton just completely missed turn one on the inside and both got up into the wall. Harvick way up high. Trying to get it done the hard way. 3 wide into turn one coming up. Harvick all the way upstairs, and he can't keep it off the wall. Should have known that wasn't going to work. Harvick's actually back to third. I believe Ron Hornaday is fourth position. Remember, he got back on the lead lap. That was the caution he needed, and not only it was a caution, it was a caution that took out the leaders. We know Hornaday's got a faster car than Harvick. Who's going to get through the traffic first? And Hornaday is just blowing right through all this traffic. Dwayne Borland is the leader. Harvick up into the 117. Barely clears him off turn one. Hornaday looking for the lead underneath Borland. He is there in turn four. Ron Hornaday to the lead. Harvick has one more shot to try and get underneath him. Just trying to stay there and keep the pressure on Hornaday. Up the track and clear off turn three. Hornaday almost got into the wall. Kyle Busch trying to get back on the lead lap. He's all the way down low. He gets around Hornaday and Borland. Squeezes way up the racetrack. Harvick a little loose off the exit of four. He's still loose. Contact with Busch. And Borland's going to get to the lead. Oh, a little more contact. Borland not clear on Harvick. He tried to squeeze him. 3 wide for the lead. Hornaday is out in front. Harvick still holding strong. Outside in one. Holds on there. Not sure how much damage that right side could take already. Hornaday trying to block Borland now. Busch moving way up the racetrack. Harvick barely keeps it off the wall as he side drafts Busch right back at Borland. What a crossover. He gets to the inside of Hornaday for the lead. Look at everybody under a blanket all of a sudden. Clear. Hornaday in the middle. 3 wide again to the outside is Harvick. Contact with the RCR teammates. Harvick finally finds his way back to the bottom and gets under his teammate for second place in turn 4. Drives it quickly now underneath Kyle Busch. Hornaday could not drive away when he got to the lead like he did on Harvick on that last green flag run. Again, Harvick pushes a little bit too much with the damage. Contact with Busch. Hornaday to the outside. He couldn't clear. Harvick side drafts him back and clears him off turn 2 as Borland is getting away. Hornaday with a crossover into 4. Busch in the way of the 21 now. Hornaday's in the wall in 1. Less than 40 laps to go for Dwayne Borland. Busch goes wide in 4. Harvick gets around him, not for position. Kyle is at least 1 lap down. Harvick just does not have the grip in the race car he once did. Can he somehow find a way around Dwayne Borland? It's going to be tough with an ill-handling race car. Oh, a little contact. Still alongside Borland. Into turns 2 and 3. Harvick's clear off 3. Busch might get underneath the 135 this time. And does in turn 4. Busch not done there, though. He wants to get back on the lead lap. Oh, he might have gotten bumped from behind by Borland that time. Borland with an aggressive bump and run. Got back around Kyle Busch. And there's Bobby Hamilton Jr. fighting back all of a sudden after being involved in that last accident as well as Harvick. Oh man, Busch came in hot on the outside. Harvick's just blocking for his life. Borland up the middle, 3 wide for the lead. Door closed. And here comes Bobby Hamilton Sr. to the inside, charging hard, and he gets back to the lead. After causing the last accident with Kevin Harvick in turn 1, he's cleared cleanly this time. Bobby Hamilton Jr. What a comeback. What a battle here late with the leaders. Harvick clears Busch off 2. Hamilton trying to block Harvick down to the inside. Trying to rattle the cage of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Not going to happen in turns 2 and 3 right there. We'll see if he can rattle him in turn 4. It's getting a little sideways. Back into turn 1. 32 laps to go. He just cannot shake Bobby Hamilton Jr. Already wrecked once. Oh, he got him loose. Is that going to be the run Harvick needed? He'll get to the inside. Into turn one, still side by side for the lead, now into two. Harvick is clear. Rattled his cage just enough. Hamilton back to the inside. Harvick trying to stay away from him into turn one. Harvick overdrives the corner on the outside. Hamilton easily scoots away. Harvick does not have the car he once did. And now we have a caution further back in the pack, our third of the race, with 30 laps to go. Right after Bobby Hamilton Jr. took the lead as the 128 car. Not sure what happened there. Surprised that was a caution, but looks like he got loose getting into turn two. Got hit from behind. Didn't look really out of shape, but I guess it'll bring out a yellow. And again, our third caution of the race. It'll be Bobby Hamilton Jr. restarting from the lead. Lap cars again to the inside of the lead lap cars. Harvick in second, right behind Hamilton. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch trying to get the jump to get back under the lead lap, and he is there. Hamilton crosses him over into two. Harvick's still stuck on the outside right now. He's got Kenny Wallace and J.J. Yaley right in front of him. Borland looking to the inside, but can't quite get there. Harvick going to try to clear Kenny Wallace into four. Couldn't do it. Hamilton's still underneath Kyle Busch right now. And they're still side by side. Finally clears Busch before they get into one. Contact between Harvick and Kenny Wallace into the first turn. Wallace just shoots by J.J. Yaley. And he's now to the back bumper of Kyle Busch. Kenny Wallace won the season opener at Daytona, so he has won a race this season. 24 to go. Bobby Hamilton Jr. leads at Nazareth. A race that was dominated in the first two-thirds by Kevin Harvick. A couple late yellows, and Hamilton looking to take control of things late. Wallace to the inside of Kyle Busch. Harvick behind both of them with nowhere to go right now. He's going to have to be patient. Still overdrives turn four. Wallace pulls up. He clears Busch. Busch loses momentum. Harvick underneath Kyle. Kyle sends it in turn one, as he has so many times today. And now in turn two, Harvick back underneath Busch. Kenny Wallace going to go a little wide. They might be giving up the leeway now and letting the leaders race it out of Kevin Harvick and Bobby Hamilton Jr. 22 laps to go, and the score still has to be settled. Hamilton is definitely blocking right now. Missed the entry to turn two, cuts back down in the center of the corner. Harvick just gets underneath him cleanly. Side draft to the left rear corner panel enough. Hamilton trying to side draft Harvick now down the backstretch into turn four. Contact now between the two of them. And Harvick still can't clear off turn four. Hamilton and Harvick side by side for the lead. Harvick's clear. Barely gets to the bottom in front of Kyle Busch off turn three. 20 laps to go this time by. Harvick leads once again here at Nazareth. And Dwayne Borland is falling back. It's now just between Harvick and Bobby Hamilton Jr. Kyle Busch lap car in the mix still. 3 cautions so far tonight. 2 of them in the last 50 laps. Hamilton tries to drive it in deep. He does to get around Kyle Busch. Now he's got to get around Harvick. Hamilton's in the wall in turn one. So is Harvick. Harvick hit the wall pretty good too. Up the track. Harvick trying to block Hamilton and does. That was risky. Hamilton's still all over him. Side by side off turn 3. Harvick just not good on the outside in turns 1 and 4. Hamilton charges back to the point. Back and forth go the leaders. In the final 20 laps, Harvick on the outside in 1, couldn't hold it. Tried to get back down to the bottom, but he got into Kenny Wallace and barely keeps it off the wall in turn 2. And another caution back in the pack. Our 4th of the race. Cautions are breeding cautions now. 109. Not sure what happened there. Not sure why that was a caution. That looked pretty similar where there was a car. Well, this time there was a car smoking up ahead. I don't know if there might have been debris. It got ran over or something. I was going to try to pit. Take tires. Guess we're not doing that. My goodness. Green flag back in the air. Now we got 13 to go. Hamilton again trying to cross Kyle Busch over on the restart. Couldn't really do it. Still underneath him into turn 4. Harvick back down to the bottom in front of Kenny Wallace now. Oh, contact. Harvick got into Yaley. Hamilton finally clears Kyle Busch off turn 3. Boy, Harvick has struggled here in the final 50 laps. He's just not been good on the restarts today. On top of that, he's got the damage from the Bobby Hamilton Jr. incident. Saw the race end under yellow at California a few races ago, but now with 4 cautions here at Nazareth, 3 of them later, we're going to get another one. And who knows if it could end the race. Obviously, we're a little too far out now. We're coming to 10 laps to go this time by. Harvick needs to get going. Stays in front of Kyle Busch, really backed up turn 1. He'll get underneath Kenny Wallace into turn 2 and clear him off 3. Trying to run down the race leader, Bobby Hamilton Jr. He is all over his back bumper off turn 4. 9 to go this time by. Hamilton with a block very late. He was not clear. Harvick wants to get around him cleanly to know how much more damage that right side can take. Last thing he wants to do is DNF. Trying to get underneath Hamilton as he gets squeezed. 8 laps to go. Oh, Harvick way out of shape into turn 1. Awkward angle getting into the corner, and Hamilton pulls away. Been hard to pass the leader in clean air all night long. Harvick having to do it with a car that's damaged pretty heavily right now. Hamilton got into him earlier in the race. Have to assume he just made a mistake in turn 1 and slid up the track and took them both out. But it has led to more damage for Harvick's car than what Hamilton got there. And now we have 6 laps to go. Harvick trying to pay him the favor here. He's got a good run off turn 2, but Hamilton just keeps throwing these blocks. Oh, he gave him a little bit of a bumper right there. Five laps to go for Bobby Hamilton Jr. Oh, Harvick drove it in way too deep. Look at Hamilton trying to go all the way up the track to block Harvick, who has nowhere to go on the outside. Into the gray area. Up in the marbles for both cars as they hang on to it. I don't know who's in third right now, but they might have the best seat in the house. 4 laps to go. Harvick cannot get around Bobby Hamilton Jr. Harvick overdrives turn 4. 3 to go. Hamilton is just trying to mimic the line Harvick is running. Harvick really backed up turn 1. Drives it deep into turn 2. Up the track he goes again. Hamilton just holds on. Harvick just can't get the car to rotate to the bottom of the racetrack. There's just too much damage on the right side. It's just wanting to pull the car to the wall. And he's got 2 more laps. Trying to back up turn 1 again. Best chance to get around Hamilton's probably going to be in turns 2 and 3. Trying to find a way. Looks low. Hamilton blocks. He'll be coming to the white flag this time. Next flag is going to end the race. Checkers or wreckers at Nazareth. A little contact in turn 1. Hamilton tried to crowd Kevin Harvick. They're side by side. Still side by side off turn 3. 1 corner to go. Hamilton drives it hard on the outside. Harvick's going to pull up. He's going to clear Bobby Hamilton Jr. Harvick is going to win with a last lap pass at Nazareth. Thought he ran out of time. And he timed it right to get back around him. In the end, it's Kevin Harvick getting the last lap pass and the last lap on Bobby Hamilton Jr. here tonight at Nazareth. That was a gutted out kind of win there late, and I didn't think that he was going to be able to get around him. He didn't really make a mistake. Hamilton drove his line. Harvick beat him off turn 4 coming to the white flag to get underneath him into 1. Couldn't clear him through 1, 2, or 3. And just cleared him off turn 4. Oh my goodness. That was a gutted out kind of win right there. After Hamilton had wrecked Harvick earlier in the race, likely unintentionally, Harvick gets around him late, even after Hamilton tried to squeeze him and block him those last 10 laps. Take a look at the finishing results to tonight's race. 1 hour, 43 minutes total time on the race. We had 4 cautions for 12 caution laps, 24 lead changes. Harvick, who dominated the race, not so much in the final 50 laps, but still gets the last lap pass for the win on Bobby Hamilton Jr. After starting on the pole, Harvick with the W. Bobby Hamilton Jr. finished second. Dwayne Borland had a great day, finished third. Jason Keller was in the top 5 most of the day. He finished 5th, led some laps. Borland led laps as well as Hamilton. Gene Martin rounds out the top 5. Hammock 6th, Holmes 7th, 8th was Hart, Westbury 9th, and Wiggins rounds out the top 10. A lot of fantasy drivers lining up in the top 10. 7 of them finished up there. We had a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops back at lap 57 during the first stops of the day, which trapped a lot of the field a lap down in this one. Kenny Walls was the first driver to finish 1 lap down in 12th. Kyle Busch, who led just 1 lap early in the race to get 5 bonus points when he was battling Harvick, looked to have had one of the 2 fastest cars in the field. Unfortunately, though, it did not work out for him with that bad timing caution. He was one of the guys that tried to short pit. We also saw, and I think he DNF'd, Ron Hornaday had DNF'd with 17 laps to go in the race. I think that was the cause of the last caution. He might have been the driver that blew an engine, bringing out the last yellow. He led 2 laps in this one on a restart in the final 50 laps, and looked to have had the fastest car in the field. In the second half of the race, even pulled away from Harvick at one point. But that engine failure bringing out the last caution obviously costed him. We only had 3 DNFs. We saw David Stremme blow an engine early in the race. Blue Castleberry blew an engine at some point, and Ron Hornaday, of course, brought out that last yellow. Oh, yeah, that's going to wrap it up here tonight. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow. We're going to have a busy day on the channel. We're going to be doing a live commentary of the actual Cup race at Watkins Glen. We'll have the pre-race as always, giving you guys my in-depth fantasy analysis. My predictions for tomorrow's race will be in that NASCAR Fantasy podcast as well. That will start within a few hours before the start of the Cup race tomorrow. We'll probably lead that right into the Cup race itself. We'll probably just run it back to back, means we're streaming the actual Cup race. So be on the lookout for that. And I think that's going to do it. We'll try to live stream tomorrow night as well. No guarantees, but we'll see what we can do. See you guys tomorrow. It's going to be a fun day once again. Cup Series is back racing for the first time in 3 weeks. Have a good rest of your night.